welcome back. This is James Dewar, your host of the San Antonio Entertainment Show, and we're going to continue our conversation about cedar. The most hated tree in Texas is the cedar tree. And why is the cedar tree hated? Because it drinks groundwater like crazy. It drinks, a mature cedar tree would drink 30 gallons a day, every day of the year, 365 days a year, 30 gallons on average. So it's bad for our groundwater. The state of Texas wants us to eradicate it. People who have allergies, that's the second thing, is they hate it, and we need to decrease this non-native tree. So it causes allergies, it drinks our water, and then the other thing is it's causing our native trees to, like, you'll see cedar that will choke out oak trees, and instead of being a big, beautiful oak, it'll be a small oak. And you can see how it stunts the growth because it's competing for water. And also fire hazards. Cedars are fire hazards because they have oil in them. So what we want to do is we have a system that we've developed that pulverizes the cedar, and it allows you to use that as a fire starter and still retain the oil in there. And I want you to send me an email at jd@jamesdewar.com, and I'll send you all the details about that. That's jd@jamesdewar.com, and I'll tell you all the details. And then I want to show you, go right into it. The first picture you'll see is you have the small cedar, then you have the bigger twigs, and then you have the bigger kindling, and then you have your logs. It would be oak or mesquite or whatever. So we don't provide the oak and the mesquite and all that, but we provide all the what's necessary to get all your wood started. And then the next picture is a kind of a layout. What you want to do is make a log cabin, put the kindling in the middle there. And then the next one is kind of laid out where you have the crisscross patterns, and you see we have the small kindling, and then you have the bigger ones, and then you have your bigger logs. Once they get, or bigger sticks or kindling, once they get started, then you put your logs on. So we're going right into the video right now. So, usually you want to use some pretty, like cigar matches or something like that. That's the best thing to light up the fire. But I showed here that I have everything set up. I have the small kindling, the smaller twigs, the bigger sticks, all cedar, and then around that I have the wood. I'm using one match, just a regular kitchen match, not even a kitchen match, ones that got at a restaurant. So you'd probably want to get a good cigar match like that and put it in there, and you notice it starts right away. The cedar is very flammable, and you can use this instead of having fossil fuels. So if you want to be environmentally prudent and you don't want to use fire starter, petroleum-based fire starter, look at this. You can just use cedar, and it starts going like crazy. It's very intense heat, and so you basically can start, once you place everything over the little flame, it starts pretty dang quick. So when it starts going pretty well, then you want to put your logs on top of it. You know, once it starts going, once you have some of those bigger sticks, they're probably about a half inch in diameter or less, or maybe even a quarter inch. Once those start, you can just put your big wood on it. But I want you to start buying cedar to start your fires, and not go and buy fire starter. The first thing is dangerous transporting that in the car. It's dangerous keeping it out. Kids can get into it. Pets can get into it. But this is an all-natural Texas solution. So I hate cedar, and I'm sure you do too if you have allergies or if you care about our drinking water supply here in Texas. We need to eradicate this non-native plant, and this is a great way to do it. And as you noticed just a second ago on this video, we just put some huge logs on this, and it's only been, 2.5 minutes since we started, or even 2 minutes, and it's already at a point where you can put these huge logs on it, and you can be assured that it's going to start. So this is a great thing that you see in other places in the U.S. They have pine, and when a pine dies, the sap goes down to the trunk, and they actually cut up that trunk, and that's what they use, like we're using cedar here. But we don't have, we have our problem in Texas. We have a lot of cedar we need to get rid of. So this is a win-win for everybody. There are a few instances, I have to say, that you do keep cedars. Like on our ranch, we keep a couple mature, large trees because the birds like using the bark for making their nests. And it's not bad to have a couple, but you have to really keep on cutting down all the small cedars because they take over. and then they choke out all the beneficial plants and all the plants that persimmons and everything else, and acorn trees and oak trees that the deer like and the squirrels like. And if you let the cedar go after it, then you won't have that natural habitat that is supposed to be in Texas. So as you see now, we've gone 3 minutes into the fire using one match, and I guarantee you're just going to use one match when you do it correctly. And take it from a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, that I'll help you get it going. I'll help you with techniques. We'll have other videos on it. But look at this fire. It's just raging, and it's all for one match, and it's when using no fire starter. You know what also is, I love reading the Wall Street Journal. You know, I have my financial show at 10 a.m., the James Durr Show, and the 7 Steps of Financial Success on 9:30 a.m., The Answer. And I used to always use my used Wall Streets. I used to keep them around because I always like reading old articles on it. And I used to use the paper, but, you know, the paper is kind of a little dangerous for, you know, fly ash, you know, blowing out the chimney or, you know, just making a mess. And it's really not necessary. And I broke my habit of using newspaper to start fires. You know, I went from what we call Boy Scout water, fire starter, you know, petroleum-based fire starter, to using newspapers. And now all I use is my specially developed cedar that I prepare that can help you start these fires. Now, you can use them in your home fireplace. You just don't want to use, and we won't supply you with large cedar logs because they do have oils and they do smoke. But once you use just a little bit, you can get any fire going, whether it's in your fireplace at home, whether it's in your barbecue in your backyard, or whether it's at a bonfire. You can use our cedar package, which will have all the 3 different sizes of cedar that's ready to start your fire. So you see the fire is just going like crazy, and it's been like 4 minutes. Nothing else was done to it. We just lit it and pretty much walked away. You know, this is not for somebody who just wants to put a ton of, if you like putting a ton of, you know, a gallon of Boy Scout water or fire start on it, this is not for you. This is for the outdoorsman. This is for the man or the woman who wants to say, hey, I'm going to start this fire with one match. I'm going to use no petroleum products. I'm just going to use cedar, and I'm going to have a great fire. So there's certain ways you build this. And you notice and we have on the outer part, you have the big logs that you kind of frame up your cedar kindling. And then as it starts getting going, then you put the other logs, more logs on top, as you see right here. So it's very easy to do. You just have to have a certain methodology of building that log cabin and making sure you have some airflow. And because this one you're watching right now is actually in a big pipe, a pit, and there's no airflow. There's nothing cut out. There's nothing going underneath it. This is all because we're allowed to have enough air to provide the fire. And cedar burns intensely. So this is a great product. I want you to email me, and we'll get you some pricing, and we'll get you on our cedar packages to help you build your fire. Just send me an email at jd@jamesdurr.com. That's jd@jamesdurr.com. This is JD Durr. And not only am I your financial consultant at 10 a.m. and your entertainment host at 5 p.m., but I'm also your fire starter. So we will help you impress your significant other and how you can start a fire with one match. I mean, that's a great feeling to do that, and we can help you with our cedar starter. So call us 361-442-4811.